Today we will be working on Server 2012 and probably will be working on Active Directory understanding as well. So this is a complete course content for this training, and where we are going through this, and this will be part of the presentation. So people who are joining in, if you have a question, you can unmute your mic. Otherwise, please keep your phone muted. But you're most welcome to ask any questions.
I have a sorry, Adnan bhai, assalamu alaikum. I have a question.
Welcome. Yeah.
Because I'm your old student, just I have a question. We gonna go through those subjects you teaching before, or just we go with that one? Because or different class we have for those topics.
Homan, can you repeat actually your voice is distorted. There is a lot of background noise. So
sorry about that.
The subjects that you see on screen, is that what you?
Yeah. I just talking, because I before that I took the class with you without workshop. If you remember, configuration, infrastructure, and we go through the some topic. Is that coming after that class? You offered after that class, or right now we're gonna go with all this content?
Yes, Homan, I think you already took this training before. So basically, this one is especially for Active Directory workshop. Okay, so and including the basics. So I mean, if you're talking about in detail other topics like WDS and WSUS, yes, those are in other trainings.
Oh, got it. Thank you so much.
Okay.
So this is Mohammed.
Yes, Mohammed.
Yeah. So the last the last lecture is not uploaded. Actually, the video version, right? And secondly, Nanway, we need this PPT as well. As you advise us that you will upload it for our review and all that thing. So these are my my advices. Yeah. Thank you.
For sure. I will. Thank you for the reminder. I forgot to upload this, and I did upload it, the notes for day 4 late, I think last night. Sorry about that, but I will upload the presentation as well. Okay. So okay, one more joiner. Okay. So we did a review of day 1, 2, 3 a few times already. So I'm going to start with today as fresh. And if you have any questions, and today we will be going through a test as well. I hope you have all prepared for a test. The test will be at 9. So 9 my time, half an hour from now, around 24 minutes from now. So it will be an online test. I will share a link with you, and we'll go through that. So for now, what we do, guys, everyone. So today, what we need to do is we start working on Server 2012. So what I will do, I will start making a server, and on your side, so keep 2008 servers in your keep 2008 servers in your library. You don't need to delete 2008 server, but we will start working on Server 2012. So all we need to do is make a new server, Server 2012. I mean, installation-wise, there is not much difference once the server is ready, and even the configuration-wise, it's not too different. So once the server is installed, then we'll go through a quick introduction. So I wanted to start the server now because we will need this server later on. So we initiate the start of the server, so the server is ready once we start with Active Directory. So what we need to do now at the moment, just install Server 2008. If you have already installed Server 2008 and it's working and configured properly, just let me know in the chat window that the Server 2012 is ready. So again, we are not deleting Server 2008. We need Server 2008 for the other labs, so we need to upgrade from Server 2008 to 2012 and then to 2016. Naveed is saying Server 2012 is ready, so that is excellent. So everyone else, so I'll be creating my Server 2012 here, and Server 2012 installation is not difficult. Muhammad is saying download it problem in config. Wasim is saying it's ready. So Muhammad, are you saying that when you download it, it's not working, Server 2012?
No, sir. I just open and I picture as well. It's a configure page actually. Try to OOB and other things. I want to change the time zone, everything.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's why. That's the thing only.
It's okay. No problem. We can fix that. So once we reach that page, I will let you know. Otherwise,
for sure,
if the server is running and you're able to log in, it's excellent. So what I'm doing now is I'm creating a new server, and we all know the creation of the server is not too difficult. We just create a new server, and we need to provide the ISO right here. So this is my 2012 ISO. And with the 2012 installation, there is, so here I'm just going to go with Server 2012 and name it Net Plus SRV 2012. So this is just the server, the organization name, and then the server, and it is 2012. Next and start. So sometimes Server 2012 installation needs to be installed in a special manner, and sometimes it doesn't. Especially in Vmware, if the installation stops at any point, then we need to provide a CD separately. So here the installation is going smoothly for now. So everyone, please install Server 2012. So far, I've received an answer from Naveed has a server ready, Wasim has a server ready. What about others? So if you have a server ready, let me know. If you if you have any issues installing, downloading servers, please let me know. So what's the big difference between Server 2008 and 2012? I mean, looking at the market at the moment, as we already discussed and I've mentioned that in the past, that 2008 is almost gone from the market, but there are still companies that are using 2008. So when you will be working in large organizations, sometimes you will find Server 2008. This is why we need to know the interface. You need to have that experience, exposure to 2008, so that if 2008 is given to you, it's not a surprise to anyone. Yes, the interface is different. So when you're installing Server 2012, so I'm installing Server 2012 right here, and it's giving me these different versions. So Server 2012 comes in two different versions. So this is, first of all, this is R2 version, and we all know that whenever there is a R2 version, we must go for an R2 version. And basically, because it's basically made with all previous security patches. It's basically made with all service packs and everything. So R2 version, and it comes in two versions, standard version and data center version. Now, this is exactly like when you go into a market and you find different products, and they are present there with different features. And like insurance companies, they would offer you full insurance, comprehensive insurance, or third-party insurance. Exactly in the same manner, these two different versions are here. So standard version is cheaper in price, and data center version is more expensive. Standard version comes with it comes with all the features as standard version, but there is one difference between the two. So the difference between this, and I'm going to cover that in the slide as well. In the standard version, you can install 2 VMs for free. In a standard version, you can, so let's say I install this server, and if I need to make 2 VMs inside a standard version, I can make 2 more VMs inside standard version for free, If I make the third VM inside a standard version server, then I need to pay for the license. So which means if anyone buys a standard version, they can have 2 more servers in the standard version as free, so they don't need to buy 2 licenses. But as soon as they install third VM and fourth VM and fifth VM, then they will need to buy licenses. So how many VMs? I mean, in order to make it more simpler, how many VMs do I have in my computer? So this is my laptop, and I have all these different VMs here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7, 8, 9 VMs here. So if my machine, if my computer would have been a standard version, then for 2 servers, it's free for me, and rest of all of the VMs, I need to pay license. I need to buy a license from Microsoft. So standard version has this limitation, whereas data center version comes with unlimited VMs installed. So which means if a company buys a data center version, then they can install, they can run unlimited number of versions. So if your computer, if your server is strong enough, then in a data center version server 2012, you can make 40 VMs, 50 VMs, or even 100 VMs inside this version, and you don't have to pay license. So this is why standard version is cheaper in price and data center version is more expensive. So where is standard version used and where is data center version used? So standard version is used, and I'm going to write that in the notes in a moment here as well. So standard version is basically used for smaller applications, for small companies where they don't need too many servers, like a small clinic, small, let's say a law firm, or maybe a small organization, small to mid-size organization, where they don't need too many licenses. Whereas data center version is used in large organizations, and they can afford the license as well, and there is a licensing difference. So in our case, we're gonna go with data center version. Now for us, we are all using evaluation version, so we don't need a license. In an evaluation, we can use all of the features for 90 days. After 90 days, you will need, or a company would need to buy a license. So here, I'm going to choose standard version. So this is one difference here. Okay, so let me actually go here and start writing this. So this is important information, and so we are at day 5. So today we are starting with installing Server 2012 R2, and so within Server 2012 R2, there are 2 different versions, which is standard, comes with 2, actually, Server 2012 standard, R2. So 2 things. Number 1 is cheaper in price. Cheaper in price, number 1. And number 2 is limit on VM. Limit on VMs is 2 VMs. Okay. And second one is Server 2012 R2 data center. And data center version, it is so unlimited VMs here, and obviously it is more expensive. Okay. So, and Server 2012 standard version is for small application or small to mid-size organization. whereas data center version is for large applications and organizations used by large organizations. Okay, and then these both servers can come in two types. So these are versions, and these both servers come in two types. So server types. Server types is it comes as a core server, or it comes as a right here. Let me show it to you. So it comes as a core server install. So right here it says server core installation, or it comes with a GUI installation. So GUI stands for graphical user interface. So this stands for graphical user interface. And the difference is the core installation will only be managed as from a command prompt. So core version, there is no mouse usage. So there is no mouse usage. There won't be a start button. There won't be this easy way of doing it. The core version is basically just a command prompt. So the core version will be exactly like this command prompt. So you need to know all of the commands. It comes with everything. You can install, you can configure IP address, you can disable firewall, you can do everything on the server, but it comes with a command version. Now, the question is, what is the reason why they make it as a command version? Because they want to, they wanted to make it faster with a core, because definitely when you are using a GUI, when you are using a graphical user interface, which is like this, where I can press start and I can see everything here, and then I can open a command prompt, and I can open a command prompt and all. So this takes space in the memory. So one reason for a core installation is to make it faster, so that it doesn't have these graphical stuff here, and it shouldn't take memory. It shouldn't use memory. Remember that we discussed that memory is that area where the information is waiting to be processed. So core version is a very light version, and it runs faster. And why they came up with a core version? They came up with a core version to compete with Unix. So Unix and Linux, these are other operating systems just like Windows. And Unix is an oldest operating system. Most of the time, Unix is used in the banking environment. So let me show it to you here. So here, Unix is another operating system. So here, first of all, let's go here. So this is a Unix. It's an operating system. Unix is a family of multitasking, multi-user computer operating system. And basically, Unix is all driven as from the command. So there is no GUI, there is no graphical user interface. So GUI, in other words, GUI, G-U-I, is graphical user interface. So Unix is all this. So Unix is considered to be more stronger in security as compared to Windows. So this is why all the banking servers where they have transactions in millions of dollars and this and that and all, we know that how sensitive data is present in the banking server. So all those servers that are used for the banking transactions, they are all on Unix server. So these are Unix server. So in order to compete with a Unix server, and Unix servers are faster than Windows servers, so they're all command driven. There is no there is no graphical user interface. But so in order to compete with Unix, Microsoft came up with a core version. So when you install a core version, it is all command driven. There won't be a mouse usage. But later on, Unix also came with a graphical user version, which is, they call it as Linux. So as being a system admin, you might face these servers at some point or another, but you don't have to manage them. You don't have to manage Unix and Linux if it is not your expertise. Because in order to manage these servers, there are specialized people, specialized certified people who manage these servers. But as being a system admin, you should know that that Unix and Linux are also server operating system, and these are used mostly in sensitive departments, for sensitive applications. So it might be used in legal departments or the government organization as well. So Unix is a command-driven software, whereas Linux is actually Unix, but it has a graphical user interface. So exactly like this, core version is a command-driven, and GUI version is like a Linux. So Unix and Linux, this is graphical user interface. This one is a command-driven.
So I have a question. So Microsoft makes Unix and Linux?
Okay, can you repeat your question, please, again, one more time?
So who makes Linux and Unix?
Yes. So Unix and Linux are made by, so first of all, they came as an open source in the beginning. Now there are companies, now there are companies that make Unix. So Unix itself is a company. So it comes as an open source as well. I mean, there is an open source Unix and Linux where people can contribute to the code. They enhance the code. They came out. They just released their own version. But Unix and Linux, they are companies itself. So these are not made by Microsoft. So these are separate companies.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay? You're welcome. So now Server 2012 comes in two different versions, standard version and data center version. Standard version is cheaper, data center version is more expensive. And then in terms of type, standard version, so you can see two standard and two data centers. So two standard version as core. So this will be a small light version of Windows. It will be faster version of Windows. There will be only command prompt and plus it is more secure as compared to GUI version. Why is it more secure as compared to GUI version? Because there are less services to attack by hackers. So definitely, if it is just a core version, you don't have a GUI interface, you don't have extra additional applications. So for that reason, it is difficult to hack into. So it is more secure than GUI version, but it is then more difficult to manage as well. So core version and GUI stands for, guys, I'm getting some background noise, or you can ask a question. I guess maybe somebody unmuted.
So I have a question.
Yes.
This is Wasim. So what is the industry standard? Which one we should choose? Standard? Obviously not, because for the mid and a small enterprise, right? But right. In the data center version, if we are working on the larger organization, which one we should choose? Because there are two options, right?
So yes, it's a good question. So as a standard, which operating system should we go for? So there are two decisions to be made. So one is, should we go for standard version or data center version? And there is a price difference between the two as well. Standard version comes as $19.99, around 1,000 or 2,000, between 1,000 to 2,000. Whereas data center version comes as between anywhere from 5,000 to 10,000. So there are different prices with different features, and Microsoft adds their license cost and this and that. But you can see there is a significant difference between standard version and data center version. So this depends on, so the question, which one should we go for? So this depends on many factors. So one of the factors is that if it is just a small company and they don't need so many servers within their organization, then we go for standard version. So most likely in a small clinic, a small clinic with 20 users or maybe even 50 users and 50 desktops, you just need one server or maximum two servers in a clinic with 20, 50 users. So in that, you don't need to spend $5,000 on a operating system license. And remember that $5,000 of data center version, it's a licensing cost. it's not a physical server cost. So you still need to buy a physical server, then need to buy this. So for a small organization, they go for standard version. But in a large organization, there might be smaller applications. For example, in Rogers, they have large applications and smaller applications as well. So for example, in even large companies, there might be a requirement of just a print server, or maybe a requirement of just a small website. So in their environment. So for that small website, they can have a standard version and save on cost. And whereas for large applications like call center application and larger application, they can still go for a data center version. So in doing that, most of the time, your finance department in large companies are very sensitive in paying for these licenses. So before even IT department decides that, we need to go for this, and the finance department needs to release $10,000 or $10,000 for data center version, they would need a complete details of why would you prefer this over this. So in all organizations, you will find a mix of these servers. You will find some standard version, some data center version. Now, in terms of system admin, would it be any different? No, you won't find any difference if you install a standard version or data center version. They exactly look the same. So we will be installing two servers here, one as a standard version, the other one as a data center version, and you don't feel any difference. Okay. So here, just to repeat this information here, so we have a core version. So it is managed by command line only. It is a light OS install. It's faster. It provides faster version, faster operation, and one more, it is more secure than data center version. It is more secure than data center version because it has a smaller attack surface.
Also cheaper.
And it's also cheaper, yeah. So it's no. Okay, no, it's not cheaper. So let's say it will be having the same price for a standard version. So standard version is around, let's say, $1,200 to $1,500. You will buy that standard version, but then it's your choice. You can install it as a core version or a GUI version. But standard version price will be exactly the same. The cheaper difference is between standard and data center version. So I think cheaper. It will be cheaper if you buy standard version and not the data center version. Okay. Secondly, we have Tui, GUI. So GUI stands for graphical user interface.
So, Sir Adnan, I have a question.
Yes.
So who decide which one should I go with, GUI or core?
Who decides? It's the system admin's responsibility, our responsibility. We will decide that which we need to go for.
Okay.
And how do you decide? So again, deciding based on the application. So for example, I'm working as a system admin, and I get a new requirement. That I need one server. And where does the requirement come from, basically? So let me actually open it here. I mean, we need to actually kind of understand this as well. How do you get this requirement? So here, let's say you are working for company NetPlus. And as a user, as a system admin, we do get requirements from different groups. So this is a finance group, and let's call them finance group, and here is a system admin. And so finance group gets a new requirement. Let's say the finance group need a new application to be installed for their accounting purposes. And if they need a new application to be installed, so they will send a request to system admin that they need a new server. So this is where the server requirement comes from. So now this is system admin's responsibility to decide between which server to go for. The finance team would not know that, so they're only concerned with their accounting application needs to be installed and they need to use it. So at this point, system admin would check with the accounting application developers that what is the requirement of this application. Let's say this application requires to be installed on maximum 2 servers if it is for high availability, or let's say if it is a small application, maybe a QuickBooks. So we have all used maybe a QuickBook or maybe a text filing application, a small application. So in that, it is very easy for a system admin to decide, why we need to spend $5,000 or $10,000 on data center version. We can just go for standard version on this one. Okay. And then the second decision on this is should he go with a core version or should he go with a GUI version? So guys, with my experience, long time back, so when companies started working with a core version, they had many problems, many issues managing these servers. And so why? Because everything needs to be driven through a command prompt. And okay, so this is fine. You can install a standard core version, and it gives you that command window where you can write commands and then manage the server. So this was fine, but the problem came when there were problems or issues on a core version. So if you need to troubleshoot them, all troubleshooting needed to be done through a command version as well. So there was a huge big limitation on this. So this took longer time to troubleshoot and fix the issues. So that basically took down the value of a core version. Why? Because in troubleshooting, it will take long time because there are limitations, and then you had to remember commands, and the commands sometimes wouldn't work properly. So that took down the value of core version, and nowadays most of the installations are core version. So there is a GUI version. There is a core version available for companies if they need to deploy it, but mostly all of the installations are nowadays GUI version. So you will find graphical user interface for all servers. So it lost its value, and nowadays everything is GUI because GUI is easier to manage. Everything is mouse driven, and it's easier to troubleshoot as well.
I have a question.
Yes.
So in GUI version, there is a command prompt as well, right?
Yeah.
So we can use the command prompt if needed.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
right.
You can use command prompt anytime in this.
So technically, there is no reason to have core version then.
No, actually, technically there was a huge advantage of a core version when it came the first time. So as I said, it has a smaller attack surface. So let's say a hacker trying to hack this GUI version as compared to this. So this was very difficult to break into. Why? Because you don't have those services where hackers can run their code and break it. So let's say the complete core version is installed in this small box, whereas GUI version needs this much of memory, and it has so many services where hacker has a lot of options to break into. So this was a very, very good option. People were very happy. We're going to go with core, and companies installed core version in the beginning. But when it came to troubleshooting and when it due to disaster and they need to fix it, it took longer time to fix it because of the limitations on this. So there was a huge big advantage, whereas you have a command prompt in the GUI version as well. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so we'll just quickly go through this, and actually, let me initiate the install, and then I can write the notes. So for now, we are going with the data center version here, and it's a GUI version. So I'm going to go with the data center version, and next. So most of the time, Server 2012 installation, and here I'm going to select custom install. We are not upgrading at the moment. Let's say if we would have had 2008 and we need to upgrade later on at the end, we will go through a complete project where we will upgrade 2008 to 2012. So then we will use this option. For now, we're using this option for a new install. And here is the disk, and no need to do anything here. And next. So the installation is going on. And at the same time, just for our experience, I'm going to install a standard version as well. So this was a data center version. You don't need to install the second server because it will take memory in your machine. Basically, I just wanted to show you that there is no difference between the two. So here I'm going to say net plus 2012, and this is standard version. So this one is going on. It will take time, and it's already 9 o'clock. Wow, the time passes like, Okay. So I will send you a link for the test as well.
7 o'clock, sir, here.
Yes, go ahead.
It's 7 o'clock, sir.
Sorry about that. It's 9 o'clock on my side. I know it's 7 o'clock on your side. Okay. I mean, I'm just going with that, the test time. Okay.
I mean, we'll attempt the test when it's 9 o'clock in our time, actually.
Yeah, right. So, we can have the test at the end as well. But at the end you'll have a lot more information. So since you're fresh, we can just quickly go through the test. Let me just quickly initiate the install, and I will share the link now. Actually, I can share it now. So where is it? So in this case, I'm going to go with GUI and standards install. So everyone, I have shared. I've shared a link with you for the test. So please open the link. Just click on the link in the chat window, and you can start your test. And remember that this is not an open book test. So honestly, just go through whatever you know, and just complete the test. Once the test is completed, let me know. If you're not able to open the link and not able to start the test, just let me know as well so that I can fix whatever is wrong. In the meantime, server is being installed. So let's take 10 to 15 minutes to complete this test. It's a very quick multi-choice questions, MCQs, and you won't feel You don't have to write anything. So I think Alamgir just joined. Alamgir, there is a link here in the chat window. It's link for the test. Please click on the link and start the test. You have 15 minutes to complete.
Yes, I can try. Actually, I did not review today and yesterday because my mother-in-law, she passed away last night.
Oh, very sorry. Rajan.
So I was
sorry to hear that.
I know, but I will try, no problem. And I have another question, sir, before I start. So, you know, I made some machines. So I don't know, after that when I made 2 servers, their IP addresses were okay. Their firewalls were off. Everything was okay. They were pinging themselves, but they were not pinging with each other. I think when we changed the settings in the, network adapter.
Networking, yes.
Yeah. So I think after that I got some problems. So which adapter should I choose, NAT or something else?
Yes, Alamgir, remember that we made these changes, and so the idea behind this is whatever the network adapter is for your one server, it should be the same for the other server as well. So the easier way to find out, just right click on your one of the servers, and go into the settings. And if it is NAT on one server, on the other server it should be NAT as well. So just make sure both are on using the same adapter. So here in my case it's using NAT. So I need to make sure that if the other is NAT as well, then they will ping. So if one is on NAT, the other one on host, then they cannot ping.
Okay. Yeah, that's why, I tried some and then I thought maybe something wrong, but I could not figure it out.
Okay, well, I can check your machine, no problem. So for now, what we are doing, just install server 2012. And leave the server. You can pause those machines or maybe shut down, and I will help you fix the network issue.
Sure. So let me, I can, in the meantime, do the test, right? So let me finish.
Okay, yeah, please do the test. So Muhammad is saying it's with me as well, not connecting with 2000. Okay, that's fine. Muhammad, we can check your machine as well. Yeah, sometimes they don't ping, and this is where we need some troubleshooting, some few things to be checked, and it's totally natural. If you troubleshoot something, that will definitely help you. So for now, let's take this 10-15 minutes to complete the test. If you're not able to open a test, I need to see that if everyone has completed. If you've completed the test, just let me know. Type that in the chat window, it's completed. So GUI,
Yes, I have completed the test actually.
Okay, thank you. Mouse everyone. Okay, I'll just wait for others to complete as well. So Faraz has a question. Yes, Faraz, go ahead.
Yes, I can wait until the test is complete for my question. I'm
okay.
No rush.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Not too worried.
No problem.
Just
okay.
City.
Adnan bhai, I have completed the test as well. Okay, thank you. Six more minutes to go, everyone.
My computer is shut down, sir. Can you send me the link again, please? One of the computer, I have two screens today. I'm trying,
Okay,
but
so you want me to send it on WhatsApp? I can share it on WhatsApp. So.
Sure, no problem.
You can do this test from your phone as well. You don't need a computer
Oh, okay,
to complete the test.
Yeah, I think this one is better. Okay, sir.
I'll share with you a link actually on WhatsApp privately. After this session, I will discuss with you as well on this.
Okay, sure.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Four more minutes to go. Guys, it's just an MCQ. I mean, it shouldn't be that difficult to complete. I hope everyone is going through the test. So far I received a reply from Faraz Muhammad, and please just keep typing on the chat window that if you've completed the test. Okay, Wasim, that's done. Naveed, that's done. Thank you. So Human has completed it. Syed, Wasim, Zishan, Ashish. Okay, good. I think all of the people have completed. Okay, so let's start with questions. So who has a question about the exam? Yes.
I have a few questions, if it's okay.
Yes, please go ahead.
Do you want me to share my screen, or you want to share yours and I can go over it What I was.
It's on
Okay.
it's on the screen now.
Okay, perfect. So first one I got it wrong and I misread the question, so that's fine. So the other one which I got wrong, and to be honest, it's not about the points I'm worried about, it's just my understanding.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
So life cycle of a server, you said 3 to 4 years. So Microsoft officially says I think 4 or 5 years, which is fine. But reality is Windows 2008 is still supported, 2012 is still supported, and they've extended Windows 2008 support when it goes to Azure till 2022. So that's why I actually ended up picking 8 years personally. If you scroll down once more, the question with the different ones, the i3, yeah, so I selected here i3, i5, and i7 because I know i3 also has a quad core. The thread count is not as big as i5 and i7, so I ended up selecting all these three on my end. And there was one more question. Yeah, the one with the ISO image. I guess I went too deep into that one. You said CD, so I was like, CD is only like 600 megabytes, and the operating system image is 4 or 5 gigs. So if it was a DVD, I would have selected both.
Oh, wow.
So that's why I only selected ISO image. So like I said, I went a little too deep, and yeah, so that was my little misunderstanding of the quiz.
Okay, excellent. I mean, just by looking at your comments and your question, this test is not for you. You have so much information. Anyone with the information that you have, this test is not for you. This test is solely for beginners. In terms of their understanding and to give them a confidence. In terms of 100%, I agree with you that i3 doesn't come with. i3 comes with a 4 core, but in general, it is i5 and i7. Okay, yeah, it comes with a multi-threading. It doesn't come with that stronger multi-threading, and none of the companies would take it as a quad core as i3. But your understanding is excellent. Other than that, yes, the 3 to 4 years life cycle. Most of the companies would not wait for 8 years for an operating system to be removed. 2008 support is completely ended. It was extended 2 times. And I know if 2008 exists on Azure, then you can use it. Then there is a support. Yes. But if it's out of Azure, there is no support. Microsoft won't even touch it. And they can provide extended support if the company is ready to pay millions of dollars. Because I've just went through that project right now. So in general, it is,
No, sorry, go on.
So for a newer system admin, if they are going for the interview, they need to remember that it has to be that it is anywhere from 3 to 4, and they will take it as an answer for that. Otherwise, if you go for 8 years, then you have an explanation, but the newer system admin won't have that explanation to give them. But your explanation is excellent. Yeah, this is acceptable for sure.
Okay, thank you. Like I said, I wasn't worried about the points. I was just kind of more worried, am I getting thrown off too much or I'm reading too much into it?
No, it's fine. And about the CD, normally we take it as a CD, and CDs are not even used anymore.
Exactly. It's just the ISO image on a USB.
Exactly, and DVDs are not even used anymore. But people still, when you're doing a bare metal install, a physical server install, then sometimes you will be provided with a DVD and you will install it.
Well, that's mostly through the ILO then.
Exactly. And your name is Faraz?
Faraz, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Faraz. So anyone else has a question? Yes, Adam bhai, this is Naveed here. Yes, Naveed. There is a question like what is required to be done on the initial configuration task of Windows it's a question, I think it's the last question. I selected everything except the assigning IP address because maybe I'm confused with server 2012 and 2008. So I'm not able to find that option in 2012 in assigning the IP address. So I would appreciate you if you can tell where we can do that in 2012. Right. I will, because we've just installed Server 2012 now and we'll go through the initial configuration. So this was basically, the test is from the previous 3 days and Server 2012 we just started. So, but I will definitely show you in all servers we go with the IP assignment in the beginning. So we must assign IP address and I'll show you where it is done. So for to answer this question, all 4 are required, right? For at least. And the second question, Danbhai, what is the role of memory RAM on a computer? You mentioned it processes the information. This line is basically written in my notes as well that it processes the information. So when I selected 2 parts here, I selected one, which is it processes the information, and then I selected all information and instructions are stored in memory before being processed by CPU. And it got me wrong actually. So I was pretty much upset because your sentence was memorized in my brain that we process the information. But when I selected it, it put me down. Yes. No. Is this Syed? RG, yes. Yes, Syed. Naveed. Naveed. So RAM, it never processes the information. It's only the CPU that processes the information. But RAM is, you can think of it as a waiting area where the information stays before being processed. Oh, I see. Okay. Right. So remember, just think it as it's a waiting lounge where information is stored and it is sent to CPU to be processed. So, this is why. Okay. Okay, guys, any other questions? So I will go through this. It was just a light quiz, and later on, whatever we are learning, we will be going through this mostly. You don't have to do a deep down preparation for these quizzes, because most of the information is from the lecture. I keep on repeating this information again and again. Yes, please go ahead.
This is Alamgir. So just for my knowledge, there was a question that input, what is input? So there are 4 options. One is keyboard, one is mouse. So I think mouse is also input, but we cannot select 2 of them, right? So keyboard and mouse both are not input.
Okay. Sometimes I do misread the question as well. The question is, in the formula input process output, what item from the following does the processing? So it was not about the input or the output, it's only about processing. So if the answer is CPU. And you're right about your concept. The input is keyboard and mouse is input, and printer and monitor is output, right?
Oh, I got now. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, you're most welcome. Okay, guys, and if there are any more questions, just keep writing them in within the chat window as well, or you can unmute and ask a question.
Just a quick question on that, right? So the last question all the way down, right, that we had, I guess you already spoke about it, but basically in the initial configuration, it doesn't really ask you for those last two things, right?
Right.
So, like, is the question still wrong? Like, would it be still more wrong? Like assign the IP and disable firewall, because we physically actually did it for the 8 and 12, right?
Yes. Ashish, in order to answer your question, can you come a little bit closer to the mic? And
Yeah, sure.
Because I'm not able to understand your.
Is it better now?
There is some distortion. Yes, better.
Yeah. Okay. So when we were actually installing Windows Server 2008 and 12, we physically actually went and disabled the firewall and assigned the IP through the network adapter, right? So would the question still be marked wrong?
The question, what is the required to be done in the initial configuration task from the following? So these all things can be done from the initial configuration task, and you can make these configurations separately as well.
True. Never mind. I just heard the question. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Sir, one more question before you start. So, how you will differentiate between like core and like 4-core? I think there was a question. I forgot. Like the answer was
i3, i5, i3, i5, i7.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So quad. Sorry. Yeah. What is the difference between like quad and
dual core?
Yeah. There you go, sir. Yeah. Dual core. Yeah.
Yes. So quad and dual core, we discussed that previously. Let me just take that out. It's right here on day 2. It's right here. So quad and dual core. So first of all, 3 different types of CPUs: i3, i5, i7. And i3 is, so they're all just like one chip. So it's a CPU exactly like, maybe there is a CPU here somewhere. Okay. It's a CPU like this. Maybe if you're able to see this, it's a chip. It's a physical chip. So i3 is basically one CPU and one core. Okay. Whereas i5 is dual core. Dual core simply means, we all know dual means 2. So it comes with 2 cores, and then i7 comes with 4 quad cores. So it has, so if you can just look at the picture, it is one physical chip divided into 4 parts. So it has 4 CPUs inside.
Sir Muhammad here. But sir, but if we go to the answer, Azamai, it says quad is for i5 and i7. So it should be i7 only, or the answer is i5 and i7?
Yes. So if we go in more depth, so this is just a basic understanding, right? This is just a basic understanding, but if we go into more depth, i5 it also comes as quad core. I mean, this picture here shows just the difference between i3, i5, i7 with cores inside. So I wanted to show you a difference, what is a core and what is a physical server. But when we go into more depth, i5 can also be a quad core CPU. It can also, i5 also comes with this, but it's not as powerful as i7. So i5 and i7 both can be quad cores.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes.
Sir, basically, we are working on this Vmware, right? So my question is,
Right.
we are just practicing on Vmware for virtual server, or like, for example, if I've got the job as a system administrator, so should I mean, because we will get all servers like separate machine with the server window. So what is the purpose? Like, we are for the practicing we are using this, or like we have to install on the company server as well, this Vmware?
Yes. So it's a good question. How do you use these servers as a system admin? So I mean, this is the understanding that we need to have. I mean, as being a system admin, so let's say you get a job as a system admin today,
right,
and you start as a system admin. So the first thing we need to understand that in most of the organization, servers are already installed. Okay. So
right,
your 90% of the work is you will be provided with a login. You will be provided with a login, username and password, and you need to start working on that server. Let's say it is a 2008 server. So the very first thing you need to do is to log into the server and start doing whatever is required on the server. Maybe, let's say you just need to see the performance of the server. This is one of the tasks of a system admin, and later on I'll give you a full list of tasks of system admin. I mean, this is a question that might be in all of your mind as being, I mean, this is the first time you're being introduced as a system admin. So your 90% of the tasks will be on the running servers. And 10% of the time, 10% and maybe rarely, you will need to install a new server, okay? So let's say if you ever have to install a new server, so in that case, you will be provided with a new server. You will receive a new server as a physical server. Let's talk about a physical server. Physical server, we talked about DL380, right? Let's say in that company where you're working as a system admin and your 90% of the task is to work on a server. So most of the time, you will every day in the morning, you will be logging into the server and then checking the performance. You will check the performance on a server, maybe fix an issue on the server, maybe create a user on a server. So most of your time will be spent on this server. But let's say your company now buy a new server. So they will get a new server. Now, getting a new server and getting a new notebook, there is not much difference. So let's say most of you went into the market and bought a new notebook. So what do you do with this? So most of the time you will just get a new notebook. A new notebook comes with an operating system. You don't need to install anything on a new operating system. All you need to do is start the notebook and start working. So, but on a server, first time you need to do the install. So now the question is, how different is this installing a physical server and installing a virtual machine? So I would say there is maybe just very little difference between the two. The only difference is that on a new server, you will need to use a CD or a DVD, and even nowadays, you can install a new server with just an USB drive. So on your USB drive, so let's say this is a new server. Okay, let me get a new Windows, and I'm glad that you asked this question so that I can. So let's say you get a new server, and then now you need to install a new server as a system admin. So in this case, you have two choices on this server. So this server comes with its own server start CD. And nowadays, so server comes in all shapes and sizes, but at the end, you need to install operating system on them. So first of all, let's say on this server, you need to server start CD. So with that CD, you will start this machine. First of all, you will power on this machine, connect to a power, and then you will power it on, and then use a CD. And within the CD will automatically start. It will start with a wizard, and during the wizard, it will ask you for the OS. Now, OS can be from a DVD, just like you can get it from over the internet. From Microsoft website, or you can also get it from the Microsoft dealers that are connected to these companies. So DVD, or most of the time nowadays, it's just a USB drive. In a USB drive, we have all used a USB drive, and in the USB drive, the same server 2012 will be available as an ISO. So 2012 ISO. So all you need to do, connect this USB or a CD on the server and just start the install. Rest of the install is exactly the same. This is no different. This process and this process, creating a new VM, is not very difficult. So creating a VM, you just create a VM. Here you bought the server. So here you bought the server, and here you just created a VM. So VM is created, and after that, both needs an ISO. Once you provide that ISO, then you need to just go through the install. So here you need to go through the install. Now, your second question is that are we just testing on VM, or it is equal to a real environment as well? So I would say, if you would have asked me this question 10 years back, if you would have asked me this question 10 years back, that, working on a VM, is it like a real environment or is it just a test? 10 years back, I would have said, this is just a test environment, and nowadays, and in the real environment, you will work on physical servers. And 10 years back, we used to say that. But nowadays, the way you're working on a VM, the way you're installing a VM is exactly how you will do it in the real environment. So most of the companies are now 50% in cloud. They are all 50% virtual. I'm just using, and this is not an exaggeration, most of the companies, Rogers, Dell, they all have 50% VMs and they have 50% physical servers. And in the coming years, within 3 to 5 years, or maximum 5-6 years, everything, 80% of the load, 80% of the servers will all be VMs. So just for a clarification, the way you're working on VM, changing RAM on a VM, adding a new disk to a VM, installing Active Directory on a VM, it is exactly the same as we do in the real environment. So have that confidence that whatever you're doing, it is equal to a real environment. And at the end of this training, when I will give you a project, a complete project to upgrade from 2008 to 2012, and then to 2016, and if possible, we'll try to upgrade to 2019. This will be your real world experience. This is exactly how it is done outside. Okay?
Right, sir. So, sir, a small one more thing. So it means the work which is like the company who's, like as you said, 50% they are working as a virtual and 50% like physical machine. So the work which is going on the cloud base, that is related to VMware, sir?
Yes, the things that are happening on cloud, it's not the VMware, but these are all VMs. So
okay.
That's another question, that the VM, so the machine that we call a VM. So this VM, would it be the same VM for this VM that we are looking at right now? Would it be the same VM on a cloud and in VMware? Yes, it will be exactly the same. It's just the vendor is different.
Right.
The vendor is different. So which means, let's say if you buy a Samsung phone, Android is exactly the same, even if you buy a phone from another company. So Android is same. So Server 2012 will not change. Maybe the cloud vendor is changed. The Azure will be changed. Okay, so just for your experience, let me quickly show you, so since we are part of a training, let me show you on an Azure here. So the cloud portal, since I have the subscription, I'll just show it to you so that you can see that there is no difference between the VMware and a cloud interface, and the only difference is the portal, the way it is, the way the interface is. Let's say I'm logging into Microsoft Azure. Now in Microsoft Azure, this is how it looks like. I mean, in VMware, this is how, in VMware, it's like a software. If I need to create a VM, I need to go to Home and create a new VM, right?
Right.
So, but in the cloud, it's not different. I mean, this is Azure Cloud, and if I need to create a VM, I will go here, and within this, there's something called virtual machine. If I go to a virtual machine here, and within the virtual machine, and remember that I'm trying to create Server 2012. All I need to do, so there are too many things here, so don't be overwhelmed. I mean, this is you just go through one time and you will remember it. Here I'm just creating a new VM. So I need to say add, and once you're adding a new VM at the end, so it creates a new VM. And since it is on a cloud, so I'm creating this VM not on my machine, it is being created somewhere in Microsoft Data Center. So it requires the same thing, basics. It will require the name of the machine. It will require the type of image. So do you want it to be a Red Hat or Linux or Unix, or do I want it to be Server 2012 Data Center? So here, I can select server 2012 data center, and then it selects few other things that what type of server is this? Is this a server with 1 vCPU, or it's a server with, and you can change it. You can change it with 2 CPUs. You can change it with 8 GB of memory. And then they give a price here as well. So this is just to give you an example. Once the VM is created and you just go through this wizard once, you become an expert. This is the beauty of learning this new technology. It's not difficult. So once you are an expert of this VM, this opens a door for you for lot of other things. You will easily become an expert of any cloud environment.
Excellent, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, you're most welcome. So everyone, thank you for, yes.
Sorry, I have a question. This is Naveed. Okay,
yes.
Well, you mentioned something. You will give us a project in order to upgrade 2008 to 2012 or 2012 to 2016. My concern is that to upgrade those applications, like if the applications are currently working on a 2012 server, and if you're upgrading it to 2016 server, now how to take care of those applications?
Yes. So your question is about the server upgrade. Okay. So whenever we do a server upgrade, that will come later at the end of this training, because before taking that decision, you need to have more in-depth information about the server. So everything that we still need to learn and go through, right? But anyways, to answer this question, whenever we do an upgrade from previous version to a newer version, so whenever we do an upgrade from 2008 to 2012 or 2012 to 2016, upgrade also always have two things to, upgrades are not easy. And so we need to take care of many things before we actually do the upgrade. But the two very important things that we do before upgrading, we check the applications on the servers and the OS upgrade. So basically, you're upgrading the OS, but we also need to take care of the application. So taking care of the application, there are many steps to take care. Let's say if it is a website, we still need to check that if that website is compatible with a new server. If it is an application, if it is compatible with the new server, maybe if you upgrade from 2012 to 2016, this application will not work. So that needs to be done before we do the upgrade. Okay, and that I will give you all the information that is required at that time. Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. So any other question, guys? So guys, here I have two server 2012 ready. Actually, not this one, but I'm working on this server and this server. So two servers. So one is data center server. The second one is standard server. And you can see that there is no difference. So the very first thing we do in server 2012 when installing is to set up the admin password. So here I'm going to use our famous admin password, which is P capital, password 1, and finish. And I'll do the same thing. So now we just keep on writing what we do initially when the server is installed. So here we talked about versions, and now we are installing server 2012 and server configuration. The server. So I'm writing this down so that we all have this idea, so we all follow the same steps. Server configuration. So first of all, admin password, and so here on both servers, so everyone, the very first thing you will see in the servers in terms of, so I'll also start, server 2008 as well, just for comparison. You don't need to start server 2008. And I can start server 2008. So the very first thing you will notice in the server is the interface difference. the interface is different. Otherwise, we can quickly see. So I will show you the things. I will show you exactly the same thing that we did in Server 2012, that you will do it in Server 20. So this is Server 2008, and this is here Server 2012. So the very first thing we do is log in. So as you can see, so the very first thing you notice that this screen is smaller. And here there is a lot of black area. Now this black area represents that it might not have a VMware tool. So whenever we create a server, we need to install VMware tools. So probably on this one, VMware tools is not installed. And why? What is a VMware tool? VMware tools are when in a VMware workstation, you need to install special tools so that this operating system can fit into can use all VMware features. And how do I know that if the tool is installed or not? I can go to VM, and in the VM it says install VMware tools, which means that this needs to be installed. But let's look at the same option on Server 2008. In 2008, you see a full screen. You see a full screen, and if I go to VMware tool, it says reinstall VMware tool. Reinstall simply means that VMware tools are installed and you don't need to install them. So in order to fix this, so whenever we install a server, the very first thing we will set up the password, number one. Number two is that we install VMware tool. But in order to install VMware tool, I need to log in first. So in order to log into the server, I need to go here and then log in. So here, the password that I just set, log in, and I will do the same thing on standard version. So remember that this is a standard version. And logging in. So I'm logged in here. On this screen, it says here R2 data center evaluation version, which is right here. The other one is the upstandard version. So still no differences in usage. So the very first thing it does, it starts the server manager. So Microsoft decided not to use initial configuration tasks in the beginning. Why? Because a server manager also offers exactly the same thing as initial configuration tasks. So in 2008, in 2012, they stopped using initial configuration tasks on this one. So OOBE will not work on this. So first of all, we are on both servers. It is doing basic setup. So in basic understanding, Server 2012 will first time will try to see scan everything what is around this, and it is about the network, and it's saying we recommend that you do this on your home computer or network. Do you want to find? So it's just saying that should this server be part of your network, the local network or not? So here, most of the time, we will say here, no, you don't need to say yes on this at the moment, but we don't want it to be part of the public network. So even if you don't say yes or no, you can always change that later on. So if you said yes, it's fine, no problem with this. So here, the very first thing, I need to remove this black space. I need to utilize, actually removing black space, meaning I need to utilize this space because the server looks very small. And plus, if you don't install VMware tools, then the server operation will be slow. So in my case, it is fast, it's fine, but still I need to utilize all the features of VMware. So, I mean, it's exactly like when you use your smartphone. When you use a smartphone, and you need to make sure that you use all the features of that phone. So there are some softwares installed on that phone from the vendor. So the next thing we're doing here, log in, and then install VMware tools. So in order to install VMware tools, all we need to do is go to VM and say install. Now, as soon as you do this, install VMware tools, in few seconds, you will see a blue screen message here. So there will be a blue message exactly like this, and it's saying VMware tool CD is in or DVD is in, and you can start the setup. So you just click on it once and then run the tools. So here, now it completes it automatically. Now you might think, you might have a question, we didn't do that on 2008. Yes, we didn't do that in 2008 because VMware Workstation did it automatically for us. So when you install 2008 server, this was automatically done by VMware Workstation, and in 2008, it's not doing it. Maybe, I mean, this needs to be done. I mean, it is needed to be done separately. But in 2008, we had to do it, and in previous version, we used to do it as well. But in 2008, it did it automatically. So here, if I open a server manager on 2000, this is exactly the same server manager that we see on 2008 here. So this is a server manager. So let me first complete the VMware tools here. So all I need to do is next install. So you don't have to make any changes to this. Okay, so now I'm getting that my disk full message, and it's saying my C drive where the VM is sitting is full. So you might not get this message. I need to delete some VMs because I have so many labs here. So what I'll do is I'll delete some of the VMs here. This is standard version, and can I do this? No. So unfortunately, I have to cancel this. This will shut down the VM, and I need to just delete some, just free up some disk space. So this is remove. And I don't need the second server, 2008 server that I created last time. So sometimes when you try to delete, it won't let you delete because the server is running. So you cannot delete a server that is running. So if you right click on this, delete option is not here. So sometimes when the delete option is not here, it simply means that it is simply means it's running. So you need to stop the server and then. Okay. So Muhammad has a question. Muhammad is saying, can you hear me? No, Muhammad, we cannot hear you. So let me type here. Okay, so here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to start the server. Hopefully, this should give me some space here. So, yeah, it gave me 51 GB, and I'm going to start the server here again. So at any point in time, guys, if you have any questions, very basic, very simple, it's fine. Please ask me any question wherever you're stuck. We all need to become an expert of Server 21st today. Yeah. It's not that difficult, guys. It's really easy. I mean,
Adnan bhai, assalamu alaikum. This is Amin.
Yes, Amin. Hi.
Adnan bhai, we need one extra class on weekdays or weekend because 2 classes will not be enough. So my request was like from the team, we needed a Saturday or Sunday morning or evening, 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah, we do need a third class too.
And that too, it's for only for 2 weeks, guys.
Sorry, Adnan, but we already discussed for that one during the chat conversation, and I explained for, I the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and I saw many of the, classmates, they couldn't do it. If you guys are going to consent like that, put Monday to Friday, I'm okay with it. But if you guys gonna put on the weekend, it's really hard for them.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, meanwhile, most of the people said that they're not available on the weekend, but let's do it an extra class on Monday. I think that was the last thing mentioned by and almost agreed by everyone. So if anyone has concern about Monday and Tuesday and Thursday, was it Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday?
Why can't we do this on a Monday, then Wednesday, and then Friday after 1 day gap?
Yeah, we can do that too, for sure.
Yeah, so because it will be easy for us in this way. We can at least revise in the second day. We can revise our previous class in the gap which we have.
Yeah, so I'm okay with this. So I'm going to write here Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So let me know if anyone has any concerns.
Yeah, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday done, right?
Friday is already we have a different class schedule. So guys, we have Tuesday, Thursday, and Monday is open.
Yeah, okay. So Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm okay with that too.
Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday.
I'm okay with that. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. At least for the second day, we have 1 day before.
Yeah, okay. We can manage. I can manage with this.
The thing, guys, we have to cover a lot of stuff. We know because a lot of you guys are asking many things, and we need to cover all the stuff, which is good. We want you to do extra hands-on labs. That's the reason we are conducting extra class, whether in weekdays or weekend. Wherever is the majority and everyone is agree, we'll do it.
Okay, are we going to implement this schedule from now or from the next week? Because tomorrow is Thursday. Are we having a class tomorrow?
Today is Thursday.
Oh.
Next week is better because I already keep.
Yeah, next class will be Monday, Tuesday, Thursday.
Yeah, that is fine. Wonderful. Okay, I'm okay with that.
Okay, decided Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. Excellent. Thank you, everyone. If anyone has any concern, you can let them in by now. Okay, very good. Decided. 1, 2, 3. Decided. Thank you, Amin bhai.
Nanway, I have a question actually.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. I just connect. I can see the 2012 server screen, and but when I go to the VM button at the top, it says cancel installation. I think it's in the process for the installation.
Yes, it is in the process for installation.
Oh.
So if I go in VM, it says cancel VMware tool installation because it is in process. Okay. Or you're not getting the wizard, or it's not being installed, is it?
Yeah, it's not showing me anything. It's just a blank, straight screen, and when I go to the VM, it says cancel the installation, but it's not showing me any progress sign or any installation thing, just like you shared to me. I mean, the wizard tool setup or something, nothing. It's just plain.
Okay. What do you have? Teamviewer or do you have Arrow Admin? Can I quickly look at your screen?
Yeah, I can share.
Okay, so Teamviewer. Quickly share with me. Everyone, please make sure that you have a Server 2012 ready. And if you have any concern, just let me know, and we can fix it. Okay. So Sayed is suggesting that we can go through VMware tools installation. VMware tool installation is really simple. All we need to do is go to VM once you're logged in and click install VM. Because the thing is, once the VMware tools are installed, it's not a good idea to reinstall them. I mean, uninstall and reinstall them, but sometimes it doesn't work properly with the thing. So all you need to do is log in. So I'm logged in here. Let me log in here.
No, sir.
So
Sir, I have a problem. My Windows
Yes.
is ready, but when I'm going to VM option, so it's showing reinstall VMware tools, which is dead. So it means it's already installed.
Exactly. It is installed, so you don't have to uninstall.
Okay, right.
Okay, good. Muhammad, so you shared with me the Teamviewer password. You also need to share with me the ID. Can you type it?
657.
Okay, I'm right here, and you can just type in the chat window so I can quickly connect. Okay, so I can see it now, and I'm about to. We're trying to connect. I wonder why it's taking time. And so let me type it. So you're saying password is lowercase? No, it seems okay. You said password is lowercase, right?
Yes, sir. All lowercase. It's XH9I61.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. The break. It's the break time. 10. Okay. So while I fix this. Uh-oh. We can take a break. I can fix while I fix Muhammad's machine. Okay. So let's take a 10-minute break here, everyone, and then we will start afterwards.
Sir, Adnan, quick question before you proceed with the other guy. So I'm getting MKS error with it says multiple sockets open.
You're getting MTS error on where?
When I powered on my 2012 machine.
Okay, and you have only one machine open or other machines too?
I did have some, but I closed those. But I don't know, it's giving me error. Even though I try to reinstall the new one, install the new one, 2012, we're still getting same error. So
okay, so let me quickly check this machine and then make your Teamviewer ready so I can log into your machine.
Okay. So meanwhile, I'm working on it.
Okay.
Let's see what happens. Yeah, no problem.
Okay, sure.
I think you have multiple internets open.
Okay, so I'm on your machine, Muhammad. What was the problem in this? VMware tool.
Can you hear me, sir, now?
Yes, I can hear you now. Okay, so Muhammad, there is no problem with your machine. It seems okay. I mean, it's just saying cancel VMware tools, but VMware tools are installed. So
okay, means all good, sir. All good, right?
All good. No problem with this.
So, sir, break chal rahi hai abhi? We are going on the break?
Yes, yes. It's a 10 minutes break, but I'll fix the issues for others.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Yep. I'll disconnect. So, Wasim, you can provide me your Teamviewer ID and we can see what's going on. So, Wasim, are you online? Do you want me to check your machine or you're fine?
So Adnan sir, I text you on the WhatsApp instead of the.
Okay. Yeah, I got it. So,
Thanks.
let me just quickly 1240. Okay, so it's connecting.
I think you are connected.
Okay. Okay, so can you show me the error message,
Okay,
please?
hold on. Can you see?
Yes. So too many sockets connect attempts giving. That's strange. Okay.
Everything was working fine before.
Okay. Maybe did you try restarting your laptop? You
Not yet.
also have VCP. You're also using any other virtualization software on your machine?
Yes, I have. I can't delete those because it's for my job.
Okay. Maybe if you just restart, maybe the process can stop. Because what it does when you're creating a VM, it's using hyperthreading, and sometimes it doesn't, work with all of the other virtualization working together with it. So it's just saying too many sockets open with the CPU for the same thread. So
You
maybe
can
if
see
you
this
just
on
restart your...
vMware. I have a vMware sphere installed here. You can see on my desktop, right?
This is fine. It shouldn't interrupt this. But other than this, any other virtualization?
No, I don't see any other virtualization.
What is this one? This thing.
Which
right one? At the bottom. This is Vnc.
I never use a Vnc server.
You're not using it at the moment?
No.
Okay, so let's stop this server. I mean, when you restart, it will come back again. This is Vnc Server. It's also used for virtualization. Let's see. And we will just
Okay, let me reboot the system and then see what happened.
yeah, just reboot the system and see and let me know.
Okay, not a big deal. Okay, we'll take care.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, no problem. Welcome.
The same, I can see the error message. So is this your laptop message? Oh, I think his laptop is down. Okay, welcome back everyone. Welcome back after the break. So let's begin. Please let me know that if you're present in front of your computers in the class. Just type yes in the chat window. So are you able to hear me? Thank you, Alamkir. Just type yes in the chat window, everyone, if you're present in the class. Thank you. Oh, screen is blank. But Steam, I think you got the presentation role. You can send it back to me. Thank you. Okay, so far I can see after the break there is Alamgir, Naveed, and Ashish. Everybody else. So not here in the class. Please let me know if you're here in the class. I need to know because we need to start the class, everyone. Okay, so we had a slow start this morning, and we started with a test and Server 2012 installation, and now we'll try to fly into understanding of Server 2012, and Server 2012 is done. Okay, so we have Server 2012 right here, Server 2012, and this is Data Center Edition, and this is Standard Edition, everyone. Please type yes in the chat window, everyone. Once you're in the class, I need to, this is a quick roll call after the break. So we have NetPlus, Server 2012, and Server 2012. So yeah, if you've already typed yes, you don't need to type yes here. Yeah, you can type here as well. Oh, Muhammad is saying you cannot hear me properly. So Muhammad, okay. Let me type in. You know, the best way to attend the training, we all know, let's say if Mohammed is able to hear us, is to dial in from your phone. Is to dial in from your phone for the audio. Just dial in the number. It's just a local number. It won't cost you, I think, extra calling that local number. So always use your phone for the voice. For all these training, use your phone for the voice, and for the presentation, just use the link. That will be much clearer to everyone. So Muhammad, are you able to hear me now? Okay. Excellent. Thank you, Muhammad. So everyone, right from the start, always dial in from your phone so that you shouldn't have any voice issues, voice understanding, audio issues. And from your computer or from your iPad, open the presentation, and so it's two screens. That will be excellent. Okay. So we have Server 2012 ready. Guys, the first comparison is what is the difference between Data Center and a Standard Edition. So basically, no difference between the two. Both server editions are exactly the same. So here I'm going to log in. So here I can see this is Server Manager opening, and on this Server Manager opening as well. So the very first thing that you will see different from 2008 is the difference of Server Manager. So this window, and other than this, it is more attractive. It's kind of more fancy. The Windows option, and then if you're already working on Windows 10, it's exactly like Windows 10. So no difference at all in terms of interface. When you click on Start, it takes you to this screen. And so on 2008, it looks more like Windows 7 and older look, and now it's not there. Windows 2008 is already removed. It's already not supported with Microsoft, but in some places you will still find Windows 8 here. Okay, so maybe the fonts might be small, but in 2008, in 2012, it's all good. Okay, so 2008. So first of all, difference between Data Center and Standard Edition in terms of interface, no difference. So this is Standard Edition. And how do we know that what type of server is this? You can click on this yellow folder. You can click on this yellow folder. And from the yellow folder, you can right-click on the PC and then go to Property. So if you click on Property, here it says that what type of Windows Server is this. Now, why do we need to know this information? We need to know this information because basically when you log on to the server, there is no way you can find out that if it is a Standard Edition or Data Center Edition. And in most cases, you're not even concerned that if it is Data Center or Standard Edition. The only difference between the two, the big difference between the two is here. I mean, you can create unlimited VMs on this one as well. But after 2 VMs, there will be charge. Microsoft will charge those licenses, whereas in Data Center, you have unlimited option. Obviously, you're paying more in Data Center. So in terms of interface, no difference. It is, you can click on Start on this one. and you can click on start on this one. It's exactly the same. Now let's quickly see the version of Windows. In order to see the version of Windows, I'm going to go back to the desktop. So from this screen, if you need to go back to the desktop, you just click on desktop. So right here, it's the desktop here. And how did I went to the blue screen? You can click on the Windows icon. So if you click on the Windows icon, it takes you to this screen where it shows you different applications here. But here, in order to go back to the desktop, it's right here. And in the standard edition, it's exactly the same, no difference. So the only thing one more thing that we need to see between this is where do you find that what type of Windows is this? And the way you can find it, there are other ways to find it, but the easiest way to find it, if you open Windows Explorer, so this icon is known as Windows Explorer. If you click on Windows Explorer and then you right-click on this PC and go to Properties. When you go to Properties and you expand this, I'm on Standard Edition and it says Server 2008 R2 Standard Edition. It is Standard Edition and it is i7. The CPU is i7 and the RAM is 2 GB. So here now, as even being a newbie, you should be able to understand that this is i7 CPU. If in your case it is i5, then it should show i5 here as well. Because it takes after the CPU of your host machine. So host machine is your laptop on which these machines are.
Sir, I have a question. Sir, I have installed Data Center 1. So it's okay, there is no problem?
No problem. Just install Data Center 1, and I installed Standard Edition just to show you the difference. Otherwise, we'll be using Data Center from now on.
Right, sir.
Okay. And same thing, I need to see the version of this server. Again, I will go to the Windows Explorer, which is this here, and then right-click on PC and go to Properties here. And here, within the System Properties, it shows this is R2 Data Center Edition. It's i7 and 2 GB of memory. Now, one more thing it shows here, which is known as 64-bit. So system type is 64-bit. We do need to understand this as well here. So first of all, here what did we do after server configuration? We set up the password, we logged in, we installed Vmware tool, then we restart the server. After that, we were looking at we'll leave it here for a moment, and here we'll see the difference. So we check the difference between data center and Standard Edition. So no difference in both versions in terms of interface. We checked the OS version. So you need to know where to check the OS version, because what happens is once you're, as a system admin, you're employed in any organization and you go into the organization and you're provided the server, so you need to know what type of operating system is this. So in order to check, how do you check this? So in order to check the operating system, you need to open Windows Explorer. And how do you open this? In order to open Windows Explorer, so here I'm going to just click the yellow box type icon from the taskbar. And then what else you need to do? You need to right click on PC. So right click on the PC, I think, and click Properties. and it shows the server version. It shows the server version. Okay. So the next thing that we need to understand is the difference between 32-bit version and 64-bit version. Now nowadays, so this is 32-bit version and 64-bit version of server. So first of all, this is basically it shows the power. It shows the power of a server, 32-bit version. So let me actually I'm writing writing that in very simple words here. So first of all, let me write a few things here and then I'll explain. So it shows the power of a server. 32-bit version is a slow hardware, a slow server. 32-bit version server is a slower server, slower computer. As compared to 64-bit version. Okay, so how do we remember this? So in order to remember this, all we need to do that the very first computer started with 8-bit version. So we're just going to talk about this for maybe a few minutes here, and it's very important to understand. So I'm going to type here 8-bit computer. So 8-bit computer were the first computer that were built. So it was the very first computer that were built, 8-bit computers, long time back, and they were all upgraded to 16-bit computers, 16-bit hardware, and then they were upgraded to 32-bit hardware, and then they were upgraded to 64-bit hardware. Now, what is the difference? In order to remember this, if I can log in here, so actually, like, what are we trying to understand? We are trying to understand 32-bit, difference between 32-bit and 64-bit versions. So 32-bit versus 64-bit. 32-bit versus 64-bit. Now, when it comes to 32-bit versus 64-bit, so guys, it's exactly the same thing as it's basically in the outside world. It is called it can be compared to the engine power. It's like an engine power, or it's horsepower. You can call it anything. You can remember that. So it's almost something like this. That's for our understanding. Where is the pen? So let's understand this basically. So we are trying to learn a difference between 32-bit version and 64-bit version. Everyone, we're trying to learn a difference between 64. Now, why do we need to remember this? So first of all, before even explaining all this, nowadays all the hardware are 64-bit or more. All of the hardware are 64-bit and more. We don't need to think of 32-bit version, but still there are 32-bit applications available in the market. So for that reason, we need to understand the difference between 32-bit and 64-bit version. Now, so what is a 32-bit and 64-bit version? Guys, remember that we understood the computer as from this formula, which is input, process, output. So we do remember this, that this is the formula that all of the computers follow even till today's date, and it's all about input. Whatever you input, it is being processed and it's output. And how this is done is that the input devices like a keyboard, you will type something, it is sent to the processor, so it is sent as one instruction. to a CPU, and CPU will process it, and it will be sent to the output. So maybe it might be a monitor. It might be a monitor or a printer. So whatever is sending, so this is one instruction sent to CPU, and then there are other instructions that are sent to CPU all the time. So let's say if there are multiple applications and they're all sending information to CPU, and CPU is processing them in the same order and sending it to output, basically that explains the 32-bit or 64-bit version. Now, going back to the first computer, it was 8-bit computer. So 8-bit simply means there were 8 wires going to the CPU. So 8 wires going to the CPU, meaning there were 8. So that CPU was able to able to process 8 instructions at the same time. Now, comparing this to us humans, how many instructions can we process at the same time? Being a human, most of the time we are able to understand a lot of things, and we are able to answer a lot of things at the same time. So so basically, and sometimes when we are stressed, we are not able to basically do that much, and we would stop others to say that, I'm tired and I'm not able to take this as a question and stuff like that. I mean, we humans have also bits or something, but there is no number. I mean, I'm just giving you an example, hypothetical example on this. So if we say that the first computer was a 8-bit computer, that simply means that the 8-bit computer had 8 lines going there. You can think of electrical lines in the house or the wiring. So it was able to process 8 instructions at the same time and give them the output. So with time, that got upgraded. So with time, 8-bit got upgraded to 16-bit. Then that got upgraded to 32-bit. And then that got upgraded to now 64-bit. Now 64-bit, it not just means that it can only process 64-bit instructions. No, it can do nowadays. The 64-bit CPU can process millions of instructions at the same time. So I mean, this was just to give you an example. So first of all, what is the big difference between 32-bit and 64-bit version? It's the speed of the hardware. It's the power of the hardware. Now, what type of hardware power? So hardware of your complete CPU. Now, the CPU is a combination of main board and a CPU. So there is something called main board. Remember the main board that I showed you, and I'll show you that again. And main board has many parts. It has the RAM slot, it has the CPU slot, it has a lot of other things inside. But this complete main board is made up of electronics. And that electronics, basically, if it is said that this main board is 64-bit, it simply means that this main board is 64-bit strong. And that, what is the meaning of 64-bit strong? That it is stronger than 32-bit. And 32-bit is stronger than 16-bit. So now there is no such thing as 8-bit in computers. There is no such thing as 16-bit. That was all gone. That was all very old. I mean, it might be old 386 and Pentium 1 and Pentium 2 and Pentium 3 and so on. So this is all gone. Now the only thing that is left is 32-bit and 64-bit. Now when you have a hardware that is 64-bit, I mean, when you have a hardware that is 64-bit, it requires a 64-bit operating system as well. So if the hardware is 64-bit, so here I'm going to say if the hardware is 64-bit, then it will require 64-bit OS as well. So OS also comes in two forms, 32-bit OS and 64-bit OS. So if the hardware is 64-bit, and nowadays all hardwares are 64-bit. So all laptops you buy, all servers you buy, they're all 64-bit. There is no 32 bits available, but 32-bit are older computers and older systems. So this is important to remember. Now, I mean, you might not face this issue, but you should know as being a system admin. Now, let's look at this. Let's look at this in terms of so here it also shows that the chip difference is 8-bit, 16-bit, 32-bit at this in terms of server, 32-bit and 64-bit. So here you can see that Windows 32-bit and 64-bit. So is Windows Server 32. So here it says type of server is for 64-bit version operating system, x64-bit PC here for 32-bit version of operating system, x86 here. So I just wanted to show you that still there is some talk going on between 32-bit and 64-bit version of Windows. So in terms of our being a system admin or anything, it's just like older technology and newer technology. So here it shows me that if I go to my server 2012, here it shows me it is 64-bit operating system and x64. So it is known as x64 processor. So in all of your system, is it showing 64-bit or 32-bit? Please type that in the chat window. Then what is it showing when you're looking at your system, when you're looking at this report? And how do you go to the system configuration? All you need to do is go here, is to go to Windows Explorer, and then go to right-click on PC and Properties. So Alamgir is saying it's 64-bit. Guys, I need to know your answer, please, whenever I ask. I know it might be a little bit difficult. It might be for you to change screen and reply on the chat, but please, I need your reply. I need to know that if we are moving into right direction, because I don't want you to miss out on this very, very important information. Thank you, Alamgir. Thank you, Naveed. Thank you, Wasim and Human. It's showing 64-bit. So it's showing 64-bit, excellent, and Muhammad is showing 64-bit as well. Ashish is showing 64-bit. So I am not getting much response from Hadi, Shahbaz, and who? And I have Faraz here as well. Faraz is actually, I think, the most expert person. He doesn't need to. Yes, go ahead, Faraz.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, no, I have a decent amount of experience working with Active Directory, so yeah, you are right to assume that. Just need this as more of a refresher as well.
Okay, excellent, very good, very good. So you're not basically you're not doing the labs. I mean, you don't need to do the labs, so fine. It's basic information.
If someone needs help, I can help them out. To be honest, like I don't mind.
Very good, very good. So guys, everybody now knows that Faraz is here. He has a lot of experience, as you can see, the questions and comments and everything. So this is good for everyone, and he is here to help as well. Thank you, Faraz.
Anytime.
Okay, so Shahbaz is saying 64-bit, and I'm still waiting for the answer from Hadi. So whenever Hadi can answer. Okay. Okay, so this is about 64-bit, excellent. So guys, everyone, so we are on server manager here. So at this point, I'm going to stop standard version. We don't need standard version anymore. So whatever we do on a data center version is exactly the same on standard version. But in terms of interviews, in terms of the company, when you're working in a company, they might ask you a difference between. They might ask you a difference between standard version and data center version. And so the standard version, the only difference is that you can create 2 VMs for free, whereas in data center version you can create unlimited VMs. So Alamgir is letting me know. So Naveed is letting me know we have all 64-bit because everyone installs servers with the same ISO. Yes, so it's the same ISO. It's a very good comment. So Naveed has provided us with this comment, and I'm glad that he brought this up in terms of, so if you have a 64-bit version and you have a 64-bit ISO, so Naveed is saying, and there is a point into this, and I wanted to make it more clear for everyone. So remember this, and you might face this in the real environment as well. Let's say your ISO is 64-bit version, okay? If your ISO is 64-bit version and you're trying to install it on a server, which can be a physical server or a virtual server, okay? And you're trying to install this on a server, 64-bit version, but let's say if the server is old. If this server is old, and some companies are still having some old servers sitting in their, maybe in their storage, maybe in their store somewhere in the data center, and your manager might want you to go and install that old server. Now, if that old server is 32-bit version, if that old server hardware is 32-bit version, then 64-bit version you cannot install. It will straight away give you a message that your operating system is 64-bit version and it cannot go on to a 32-bit version. So if your hardware is old, this will not be compatible. So 64-bit version can only be installed on a newer server or 64-bit hardware. So just be ready for this as well. And so going back to the comment of Naveed saying that we have all 64-bit version because everyone installed server on the same ISO, which is excellent because all of your laptops are 64-bit version. This is why 64-bit version works on your machines. And sometimes if the company has old hardware, so in that case, what do they need to do? They need to get the ISO for 32-bit version. So ISO can be a 32-bit version as well. Till Server 2012, they used to bring 32-bit version of ISO. I think starting Server 2016, there is no 32-bit version. I'm not 100% sure, but let's quickly check that out. That if Server 2016 is 32-bit download. So here it says Server 2016 32-bit download. So here Windows 7th edition and operating system, it is excluded the graphical user interface support for 32-bit software. It does not support console. So definitely it's moving away, and it will be, because the thing is there is no need for 32-bit version on newer servers, so it's not required. Okay. So Alamgir is saying 64-bit will support 32-bit, but 32-bit will not support. Yes, exactly. Yes. So that's the thing. If you have 32-bit version, it can be installed on a newer software, so 32-bit version, but then you are underutilizing the hardware. So hardware cannot, I mean, you have, think of this, you have an aeroplane, and you're trying to drive it with a Corolla engine or a car engine, or so you're underutilizing it, but it will work. It will work. 32-bit can work on. Okay, so enough with this. But this was an important information. Okay, so now we are in Server Manager, everyone. So now I want you to compare between Server Manager of Server 2012 and 2008. So 2008, it looks like this, the Server Manager. It looks it's all based on this. So here I have roles, here I have features, and here I have more things here. But let's try quickly compare it with Server 2012. So in Server 2012, the roles and features are here. And then here, instead of initial configuration task, they call it a welcome to Server Manager. And here they gave a quick start. So instead of initial configuration task, they are providing us with a quick start and then what's new and then learn more. And honestly, I've never went into what's new and learn more. So which means that not everything is here you need to be an expert of. So most of the time we start with quick start here. Now, so quick start, if you need to add a role, and in a moment I'll go into the roles, what are the roles and what are the other server stuff. But let's go to our favorite place where you can find exactly the same thing as initial configuration task. So
So by which I mean that where is the place where you can basically change the name and change the IP address and then disable firewall. So this all that we did in 2008, it's all here on the local server. Very good, Alamgir. Yes, it's all here on the local server. So your first stop on the server, once you're on the server, you will be on the local server, and within the local server, it shows you a computer name. Here it shows you a firewall, and here it shows you the Ethernet. So the three things that we need to do that we did on server 2008, it needs to be done on local server. So everyone, let's bring the name. Let's set up the name first. So the name. What name do we want to give here? It's exactly the same name as this one, which is outside on the VM. So net plus serve 2012. So I'm gonna go here and here I'll go into change, and here I will say net plus serve 2012. So once and you can see that it's exactly the same. I mean, this screen, the interface is different, but it's exactly the same as 2008. So all you need to do is to find the new place where it needs to be done. Otherwise, the configuration screens are exactly the same. So here I've named it. I'll just make sure. So net plus serve 2012, net plus serve 2012. That's okay. And that's okay 2 times, and we used to do this exactly the same thing on 2008 as well. And after that, it will restart. So before restarting, I mean, you can always say restart later, but then you have to restart. I will say restart later, and I will change other few things. So again, I will disable the firewall. We had the discussion about the firewall in the last lecture as well. So for the test and training environment, I will switch it off. So I'm switching it off, and one more time, I'm going to go there. So all you need to do is you can go to the firewall, and here you can see I switched off the firewall, but it still stays on. Actually, it's not on. I just need to refresh the screen. So right here at the top, you need to refresh. Once you refresh, it will show you off. And the next thing, and here it looks more convenient as well. So once you get used to this, then you will not like this. I mean, this is like very, very old, and here this is like very, very new. So here I changed the name, but name is not changed because I never restarted the machine. And here I have Windows Firewall, it's off, and then Ethernet, I can set up the IP address. So we can set up the IP address of this. And the IP address we're going to set for this server is 15. So we had server 2008 as 10, server 2008 second server as 11, and here I'm going to assign 15, and the process is exactly the same. The process is exactly the same. It's just that it's a new place here. I'll go to the Ethernet, go to properties, and then disable IPv6. We had a discussion on IPv6 as well, that we are not using it at the moment. And what we need to do is we just need to set up the IP address. And the IP address is 192.168 and 0.15. So we will give it as a 15 because we need to later on connect this server with 2008. So we need to be on the same IP network. So just remember that it is 15, and here I will click OK and close. And one more time, I will just look at this. So I change the computer name, and then I disable the firewall, and then I change the IP address, which is Ethernet. So guys, please ask questions, ask any questions, basic questions, advanced questions, any questions related to this now or whenever you want. So at the moment, we did the same thing. So we changed the name, we disabled the firewall, and then we set up the IP address. And now what I'll do, I'll restart this machine. So
We don't have to do anything. So here we'll do another extra one more thing, and that is disable IE enhanced security configuration. So this one is required when we need to connect to internet. But okay, so just let this on. Let it stay on. So later on, once we need to use the internet, we'll disable it. But at the moment, we don't need to do anything. But here on screen, you see that it's also showing me the time zone. Okay, wow, it's showing me the Canada time zone. Yay, home time zone. Okay, so but I need to change this to where I am at the moment. So in your case, it might be wrong. It might be the correct one. So if it is wrong, just correct it. So I'm going to correct this one. I love to have Canadian time zone, but where I am, I need to change it to that time zone. So here, so for me, I can change it to where is it? It's completely opposite to Canada, and it's on the other side, right here, Sydney. So Sydney time zone, I need to change it to Sydney time zone. So it's changed, and I just need to refresh this. So Wasim is asking a question, why do we need to put a gateway? Yes, so I'll just explain that in a moment. Let me just restart the machine. So how many things did I do? I changed my time zone because it was not correct. In your case, if it is correct, you don't need to change the time zone. And then the computer name, I changed it. I changed the firewall. I changed the IP address. And now let me restart this computer. Okay. So right here, while this is restarting, and I will be able to answer Wasim's question, so restart. So restart. Whenever you restart a server, it asks for a reason. So it doesn't ask for a reason when you restart your client machine. So if your client machine is restarting, nobody cares because it's your own machine. When you're restarting the server, it always asks a reason because it needs to write it down in the log. Why? Because there might be hundreds of people connected to this, and there must be a good reason why you are restarting the server. And servers, guys, remember, servers are never shut down in most organizations, only shut down in a planned time, in a planned manner, where you need to type a reason. So for me, I'm just going to say, so you can select anything from here. I'm going to just say it's maintenance, some maintenance, and click continue. Okay. So now,
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Sir, what is IP and what is difference between server IP and client IP?
Okay. Yes. Right. So I will answer this question. So actually, this is a question related to Wasim's question as well. What is a gateway and what is a DNS? So I was planning to.
Excuse me, sir. Adnan.
Yeah.
My question is not what is the gateway. My question is why you did not put the gateway while you putting the IP address in the server 2012.
Yes. Yes. Why did
you
I
didn't put the gateway?
Or why I didn't put the gateway?
You didn't put the gateway. That's my question.
Excellent. Very good. So Wasim, yes, I understand your question, why I didn't put the gateway. And this is actually related to the other question as well, which is what is a gateway? Because few of us here are completely new to this. So let me just take a few minutes and I'll just explain this all together, and this will have answer to your question as well. Okay. So first of all, everyone, we know what is a system. We know what is a system. System is basically referred to as a server. So system is basically referred to as a server that connects to different users. So we have different users that connect to servers. Then the next question here is, what is a network? So network, in the beginning, we defined network as many connected computers. So when many computers are connected together, this is known as a network. So right here, this is called a network. Where you have many devices connected, it is known as a network. Now, that takes us to our basic understanding. If the server is only one Would that be a network? No, it's not a network when the server is only one. Or let's say if you're only working on a laptop and it's not connected to internet, it's not connected to anywhere, Wi-Fi, internet, then it's not in a network. The laptop will be in a network when it is connected to some sort of network. So this is the second thing. Now, what makes a basic network? A basic network is made between these devices. So let me quickly go here. So you need to have at least 2 machines to make a network. So 2 machines, it can be 2 laptops, it can be 2 servers. So as long as they are connected together, they are said to be in a very small network. So this is called a network, right? Now, so this is just two machines connected together. What if there are 3 machines connected together? Now, there are many different variations of network, but I'm here I'm just going to use a very common variation of a computer where you have to have some computers connected to some servers. Okay, so let's say in your organization, you're managing a clinic as a system admin, and you have 20 laptops, 20 machines that are connecting to 4 or 5 servers. Now, in order to connect these servers together, you need some extra devices, just more than a cable. So here, let's take an example of these connected together. So these are devices connected together. When you're connecting just 2 devices, you just need a cable. And long time back, we used to connect 2 laptops or 2 desktops together with a crossover cable. Now, what is a crossover cable? What is a straight cable? We don't need to go into that discussion at the moment. But just remember that you do need a network cable. So this used to be a network cable. Okay, so which means that in order to make a network, the very first thing you need is a network cable. And just bear with me, everyone, on this. And this is a very simple understanding. So network cable is that first thing that you need between a computer. So let's say all of them have network cables. Now, how can you connect all these computers to all these servers? In order to connect these computers to all these servers, we need something called a switch. So this is that device that connects all these computers together, all these devices together. So switch is that device that connects these all computers together. So all you need to do, get a switch type of device. So this is a switch, and it has all these different type of cable connections. And these same cable connections, you can find that in the back of your router that is provided to you by your telecom carrier, Rogers or Bell or Shaw in your area. So on that router you have this connection as well. So which means the second thing you need in order to connect multiple server is a switch. Now before switch there used to be hub. We used to use, and hub used to be non-intelligent devices. They just connect these servers. But at the moment we all have switches. So now you have a switch. And now how does it look like? So all these computers will connect to a switch. So I would call this as SW, a switch, and all these servers will be connected to here as well. Okay, so now this makes a network. This makes one network. So I would call this is a network. Okay, so now that takes us, so now how do they connect to each other? So hardwarely, everything is fine. So hardwarely, on all these laptops, you must have a second thing that is known as network card. So network card, which is in short is known as NIC. So this is known as NIC card. NIC it stands for Network Interface Card. Interface card. So this is the third thing. So if you have these 3 things together, then this can make a network. So on all the computers, you must have a network interface card, not only on the client machine, but on the servers as well. So you have an Ethernet. It is also known as an Ethernet card. So you have all these 3. If these 3 things are available, then that can make a network. So now let me number them. So first of all, network cable. Number 2, so network cable. Number 2 is so here it is a switch. Okay, so I'm going to number it number 2. And number 3 is network card. So basically it should be like network card, cable, and switch. But in short, if you have all these 3 devices, this can make one network. So this can be exactly that this is connected to be in a network. Now I'm coming back to that gateway as well. So when you have, one more time, just to quickly go through this knowledge again. So we already understand what is a system. System is a server. Server is where the applications are connected. Users connect to servers to use applications, and applications like eBay, websites, databases, a lot of things and all. And what is the definition of a network? Network is defined as many devices connected together is known as a network. And we go to a basic understanding when 2 computers connect to each other. This is also known as a network, a very small network, but this nowadays doesn't exist. Actually, it exists in a modern form. We can connect, we don't need a cable nowadays to connect 2 computers. We connect 2 computers through a Bluetooth. We can connect 2 computers through by other means as well, by Wi-Fi and so on. But if you need to connect multiple computers with multiple servers or more than 2 computers, more than 2 devices, then we need these 3 things. You need a network cable, you need a switch, you need a network card. Now, quickly expanding this to gateway. So in this case, always remember, in this case, if there is no requirement of connecting to another network, if there is no requirement to connecting to another network, then you don't need a gateway or a gateway IP address. So gateway is only required when you need to go into another network. So let's say in this case, especially our case, we will have only one server. We have a second server, and most probably we'll be using one client. When we have one client, then all we need is a switch in between, and then these all can connect to each other. So these all can connect to each other. So here they are all connected. And once they all connect to each other, there is no requirement of a gateway. So this is to answer Wasim's question now. This is why I never use a gateway IP address, because I don't need to get out of this network. But then in which cases would you need to get out of the network? So we would need to get out of the network. Let's say let's say to take an example of, now the question is, when do you use a gateway? So the question is, when do you use a gateway? Gateway is used when you have 2 or more networks. So for example, I'll give you an example. Let's say you're working for an organization that has a building of 12 floors. So this building has this many floors here. And this many floors, and in each floor there are 40 computers. So on each floor there are 40 machines that need to be connected. So 40 machines on this. Now, how do you connect them? So the thing is, in order to well connect them together, what we do, we make each floor as a network. So we will basically, all of these computers, there will be 40 computers on each. So there will be this computer on this floor, and let me make it smaller. So let's say this is showing 40 computers on this, and then you have 40 computers on the other floor. On this floor, 40 computers. Then how do you connect them together? So each floor will have its own switch. So each floor will have it. So floor 1 have its own switch, and then floor 2 will have its own switch. Floor 3 and so on, each floor will have its own switch. So these all connect to their own switch. And when you need to connect, so which means that each floor has its own network. And when you need to connect this computer to this computer, let's say you need to send a file from floor 3 to floor 4, then the information will travel in this case. So it will go to this switch, and then from here it needs to reach here So in order to connect two networks, then we use a device that is known as a router. So a router is that device that is used to connect two networks together. So in this case, this switch will connect to this router, and the information will travel in this way. So the information is sent to a switch, which will send to a router, and router will send that information to that computer. So the gateway, the gateway IP address that we know of and that needs to be entered is basically the IP of this router. So this device is known as a router, and this router is basically has the gateway IP address. I know that this might be a lot of information for the people who are new to this, but again, there are actually these three things to understand. So first of all, what is a network? A network is basically devices connected together. What can be a smallest network? A smallest network can be just this. A smallest network is two computers connected together. You don't need a switch. But when you have many computers connected together, then you need a switch. And switch is that device that can connect two or more computers together. So in order to make a network, you need to have a network cable, you need to have a switch, you need to have a network interface card. But so this completes one network. But when you have multiple networks and you need to connect them together, then you need a router. And the router is that device that is known as a gateway, and gateway is only required if you need to get out of this network. So in our very small network, we have just two servers here and one client, and we don't need to go get out of this. For that reason, we don't use a gateway IP address in a very small network. So let's say you're working in a small clinic, and there is no need for the gateway. Thank you, Naveed. So I'm going to log in. Okay, somebody put us on hold. Okay, good. So if you get a phone call, definitely, if you take that phone call, then we get that beautiful noise, beautiful music. Toot, toot. Okay, so everyone, if I go to a local server, and I need to set up an IP address, and here, since the server is restarted, we can see that net plus, this is server name, firewall is off, and we have Ethernet is this. And now, if I go here and go to Ethernet, I can see that the properties, and within this, I have the IP address, I have subnet map, but no default gateway. So now I think it should be understandable. We don't need a gateway for these. So these all computers will be on the same network. So they all use the same network. So your question might be then, would we ever need to use a gateway in these training sessions? Yes. So once we decide to continue these trainings, and in MCSA training, definitely, and in all advanced trainings, we use gateways. So we set up a gateway IP address. You might have another question that in the real environment, how frequently these gateways are used. Yes, these gateways are used all the time. These gateways are used all the time because the companies that we are targeting are mid to large size companies. Mid to large size companies, they all have multiple offices, not only one building, they have many buildings. I mean, when I used to work in Rogers on, I think 8200 Dixie Drive, just in that one location, there were around 8,000, I think, not 8,000 different data centers, around 5,000 servers, and there were around I think 25,000 people working there, and so which means that there were around 50,000 devices connected. So definitely in all these mid to large size organization, they all use routers. Then there might be a third question in your mind. Do we need to know information about switches and routers? Answer is no. No, we are not the people to work on this. And as we discussed in the beginning, these devices are managed by people that are known as network engineers. So these are network engineers who needs to specialize in these Cisco devices or Huawei devices and all. And if the network is broken, they would fix it, and they would fix it for us. So let's say if we get a problem on a server and server is not able to communicate this. Now, how do you know if the network is not able to communicate with this? So basically, you will try to ping from your machine to the server and it's not pinging, then definitely you will pick up the phone and basically you will check your basic things. If your laptop is powered on and it's connected to the network and it is connected and it's not able to ping to the server, and from the other machine it is not pinging to the server, and you also check the server is working fine, then you will pick up the phone, call this network guy and say, there might be some problem with your switch or a router. So yes, don't worry about too much about these routers and gateways, because this is not our domain. This is a separate thing that they need to manage. We need to become an expert on a server, but we need to have that network understanding on this level. So we need to have this understanding that what is basically a network, what is the role of a switch, and what is the role of a router in a network. Okay? So Naveed is asking a question: who decides to put a gateway when establishing a network? How to find out a gateway in the organization? Yes. So and you guys answered it. It is a responsibility of a network engineer to put a router wherever it is required. And who would provide the gateway IP address? It's again the networking team. They would provide us the gateway. For floor number 10, the gateway IP address is this. For floor number 5, gateway IP address is this. And it might not be just different floors. It might be different blocks within the same vicinity. So, for example, it is let's say this is one block and this is second block of your offices, and here there are, let's say, 35 people sitting here, users sitting here, and here there are let's say 80 people sitting here, and they all need to connect. So the network team will put a router here, and then they will connect their switches, which are right here. I'm going to make it switches here. And there is also so after this lecture, within the week before the next lecture, please review this knowledge and also try to make these diagrams as well. So they connect to a switch connect to a router, and router connect to, so this is how the network is built. Okay. So what is the time now? Okay. How many of you have to go to work tomorrow? Time is 9:30, 3 minutes to. How many of you have to go to work tomorrow? Okay, so I mean, intentionally we put it to 3 hours time so that people need to go to work the next day, but normally we need to take it to another half an hour till 10 if possible. Because, we have a lot of knowledge and I need to cover it all. I know we're reaching Active Directory. I had a plan to start Active Directory today, but we still need to learn all this. We still need to have this. Okay, so before we can finish today, so now at least we can have 3 days a week, which is Monday, and so people are saying that we can continue till 10. We can continue with till 10. Okay, and what about the person who needs to go to work tomorrow? So, okay, Naveed is saying that it's ending for it. Okay, so it's fine, no problem. We still have time. We can go through it, but The information we covered today, guys, is very, very important information. And now let's discuss in the last 5 minutes. Give me 5 minutes before you log off. Guys, we need to make groups, and as we decided, we need to get on the phone. We need to get on the phone, and we need to chat with each other. So, the training will last for next 2 weeks and probably another week. Okay, so Alamgir has to go to airport at 7 in the morning, tomorrow morning, 7. Okay. So let's make the best out of these 2 or 3 weeks. Tomorrow evening. Okay, so let's make groups here. We need to make group of 2 or 3 people. All you need to do, get on the phone and then just discuss whatever is discussed in the within the notes and within the lab, and you can have a lab session. Guys, the more time we put into this, trust me, it will be valuable. It will come back. And it will be paid off. Okay. So among yourself, please select your partners here. Partners in terms of group discussions. So 2 or 3 people. Have we discussed this before, or have you guys discussed anything on this? So if you know your group or partners, just write the names here. In 5 minutes, let's decide. Okay, so let's how about, so we have so many people here. Let's say, how about Wasim Sayyid and Muhammad, 3 people. Can you guys make a group for yourself? So I'm gonna write here Wasim. Okay, Sayyid. Wasim. Is that okay for all of you?
Yes, sir, we are okay. But somebody already made Naveed, Wasim, and me. I don't know who was there.
Somebody already made groups?
Somebody just suggested on. I'm just watching on the screen.
Okay, good. So Wasim is saying that I guess Faisal made a group of Wasim, Naveed, Alamgir, and Faisal. Okay.
Yes, sir. We have made a group actually.
Sir, they all are good. Sir, we need at least one good person with 2, beginners, with 2 beginners.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So guys, okay, so let me clear that confusion for you. Yes, you need a one. Okay, hold on. The groups are to review and revise everything that we have learned in the last 5 days. Okay. So let's say if you don't have the answer to any questions in the discussion, please write it down, and then we will be able to clarify that. So far, you all should be able to make servers, make basic configuration, and go through the notes. So if you can spend just 10-15 minutes, maybe not half an hour, maybe a few hours, it will be fine.
Okay, so there was a group just want to clear.
Sir Adnan, I have a suggestion here.
Yes, please go ahead.
Why don't you make a group, because you know all the students, right, and their capabilities and their levels, right? So if you whatever group you will make, that will be acceptable for everyone, because it's going to be a balanced group, right?
Yep.
It's a matter of sharing the knowledge, right? That's it.
Absolutely, sir. Wasim bhai, you are absolutely right.
Okay, excellent. So is this group fine for you, Wasim, Naveed, Alamgir, and Faisal, or you need another participant in this?
So how many people are Faisal, me, Naveed, and
so there is Wasim, Naveed, and Alamgir. So I'm writing that in the chat here. Oh, okay, hold on. I need to get this. Oh, actually, you guys can see the chat session. Okay, so who is left? We have Human, and I would consider. Okay. So one group is Wasim, Naveed, Alamgir, and Faisal, which you already made. So you guys can discuss. And then we have Human and Ashish, Shahbaz, and Sayyid. Okay. So the second group is Human. Shahbaz, are you online? Is this okay for you? Ashish. Okay. Okay, good. So guys, please review this. I wanted to go on and on with the next topics. So I'm still here. So we're not discussing anything new. Now we will continue on Monday's lecture, but I'm still here. Anyone has any issues with their lab or any help with the lab, I'm here. Just let me know.
Before you go, I just have one question.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, this is Alamgir, sir. So, just, like both servers, they were not pinging each other, right? I think it was only because of NTS card or something. So, sometimes there are so many cards. So, we should use only one card for the connection thing? For
yes.
the ping?
Yes. Yes. So just one card is required for basic connection? Yes.
Okay, sir. So how can I check that this one is connected with NTS or with the other one?
Okay. So can you share with me your Teamviewer or Arrow admin ID so that I can show it to you?
Sure.
Is this Arrow admin? Are you using Arrow admin or Teamviewer?
Arrow admin, sir.
Okay. Guys, anyone has any questions in this regard? So I will be sharing the slides and I will be sharing the notes and everything that we have discussed today. And it's good that we're going to have a third day on, and that is, I'm very happy because then we can cover a lot with this.
Yes, sir. So 468274645. Yes, sir.
What happened? My presentation session is gone. Why is my presentation session?
Sir, can you please share your PowerPoint presentation, sir? Because we have to.
I will, for sure. Okay, we don't have to use Teamviewer. There is a shared thing here too.
I have a request.
This is Human. Is this your thing?
Yeah. Just I have a.
Okay.
But just I'm wondering to know tomorrow I have an interview. Just are you available tomorrow morning? In my time, you may it's gonna be. I don't know which time is good for
you. You want to ask me questions?
Yeah. For the interview because I have interview tomorrow.
It's okay. It's okay. You can you are you available now?
Yeah. Of course.
Okay, just give me 10 minutes and let me work with Alamgir
Sure.
and then we can
Sure.
talk, okay?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. And so. Let me share my screen. Human, how do you share your screen? I think you can share your screen. Can you guys see my screen?
No? Yes, sir. No, I can see.
No, I couldn't.
Human, I sent you a message to yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, very good. So Alamgir,
Yes, sir.
from your screen, send me a request. I mean, you see from the chat window above the big circle. Just click on the big circle, and then I will get your request for presenters. Then I can see your screen and work on it. So on your computer,
Yes, sir.
but on the top where you see the chat and speaker and this and that, in the middle big circle, just click on middle big circle.
I cannot, sir, because it shows me to share my ID.
What is the message when you click on this? What is the message you're getting? Okay.
It gives me arrow
Let me
admin.
first. Yeah.
So, yeah, once you go in arrow admin, you just need to put my ID and you'll be connected.
Okay.
My
use
task.
arrow admin.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it will ask my ID.
Okay. I am connecting. I'm opening arrow admin now. And your ID is, what is your ID?
468274.
468274 Okay. And
Yes,
password?
3685.
Okay. 3685?
Yes, sir.
3685.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, it's right here. Okay, now what was the, just a second, just close it. Oh, I closed it. Oh, I need to reconnect again.
Oh.
Just a second, and what is the password again?
It's 7741.
7741. Okay, so I'm here. We can minimize this and minimize this. So where is the server? What do you want to show me?
Yes, sir. So, like, I made yesterday one machine here.
Adnan bhai, are we still continuing the class?
Yeah, class is finished. We're just going through the lab.
Okay, shall I stop recording, Adnan bhai?
Yeah, please.
Or leave it on?
I mean, Mike, the previous videos are not uploaded. Can you upload them?
Yeah, I'll do it now.
Okay.